So I'm going to be showing you how to use this palette and how to get this look and how to be Malibu Barbie for a day or two or more. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see the breakdown of this look. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to be today going through a stack of palettes for both spring and summer. Now before you say, well Louise, spring is almost over. Well, pretty much it is, but remember your color stories will go from season to season, and there's a reason why you do not want to shelf your seasonal palettes. You want to keep them out for the year because they will actually all really work well together as time goes by. So with no further ado, I'm going to start with spring, and then we will get into summer palettes, and I'm going to start from my favorite palette with all my favorite palettes, but what I'm trying to say here is I'm going to start with my least favorite palette to my most favorite palette, and it doesn't mean that my least favorite palettes I don't like, it just means I'm kind of ranking them to my most favorite, if we can put it in more of a positive spin. So my first one for spring would be the Candy Castle. This palette for me just kind of like, it's cute, you know, there's a lot of pastel going on, and it's great for someone who just loves to just kind of play around with fashion colors. I'd say this is a fashion palette, you know, great for playing around. It's very young, but I was, of course, I'm a marketing freak, and I mean, who doesn't like a cute palette? And I mean, most people love nostalgic type products too, so that's really what got me with this. But this palette is, it's a good one. I would just say it's not my most favorite. So moving on. The next one is the a Trance, actually, with Colourpop, and I always struggle with these ones to open, but what I really like about this palette is that it, you know, the color story actually makes sense. If the idea with this collection was to do more of like a tie-dye effect, so I'm digging that, and that's really great, grand, groovy. Just not something I would gravitate towards on a regular basis. However, I think it would make such a great color story for spring and summer, even though I believe this came out in last year's summer collection. So, you know, it just depends on what you perceive as spring and summer. But at the end of the day, I think it would transition really well from spring to summer. So definitely hold on to this palette, keep it out if you have this palette. It's really fun to use, and I actually really think it's cute. So Cloud Spun is a really fun palette. I would say it's quite dramatic. I mean, you can see there's quite a bit of pink going on. This type of color story really reminds me of spring, you know, blooming flowers, lots of color going on, really bright, really saturated. This actually would pair really well with, you know, a neutral palette. You could do a lot with this palette, pairing it with different undertones, like cool undertones and warm undertones. So although I think this is a great spring tone palette, I think it would move into a summer tone palette quite well and quite easily. The next one for spring is the Wild Nothing. Again, a really nice color story, and also just really wearable, perfect neutrals. It does remind me of spring as well as summer, and you know, you're thinking, well, if this is your, you know, your spring, you know, selection, then why do you keep mentioning summers? Because like I mentioned before, you know, we can get things to transition quite well from season to season. And so I think that this color story really is something that you could travel with. You've got 3 color combinations. You can do 4 color combinations on your eyes. You can really do a lot with this palette. So although it doesn't have the best ratings, which I found shocking, this palette is absolutely stunning on, and I highly, highly recommend it. So great for anyone, and especially someone who's not used to using a ton of color. So Fabulous. Wild Nothing, I tell you, it's awesome. I love butterflies, so anyone who knows me knows I'm like so in love with butterflies. But Flutterby is actually an OG palette for me. It's super pretty, easy color story. I'm not a fan of always having a glitter in my palette, and you do see, and hear a lot of bloggers speak to this, and vloggers, that, they wish that, sometimes they would just not put, or most times not put, a glitter in their palettes. But, I guess it's just time and place. But, yeah, super wearable. And, like, look at those mattes with the glitter gleams in them. Absolutely beautiful. And the glitter doesn't fall all over your face when you're actually applying these, which is in a pressed, like if you press them on, super great, like super impactful. So great spring palette, love that. So nice cool tone palette for sure. The next one I want to mention, and this is one of my favorites. Now we're on the top 3, so the next 3 you see here, including this one, are my top 3 picks. Excuse my cuticles, excuse the background noise, I forgot to mention that. I live downtown, it's just always so busy and loud, and I have the driest cuticles in the world, so if you can get past that, then I love you, okay? But I love you regardless of you getting past my dry cuticles. So let's get to business. Blush Crush. What is there not to love about this palette? I mean, come on here, the packaging, and pardon me, like, what? You can see I really went hard into this shade right here. Gorgeous, you guys. Absolutely one of the best cool tone and peach tone, warm tone palettes I've ever used. This is something I would travel with 110,000%. It's gorgeous. In fact, I would probably take this with the Flutterby palette and be happy with the 2 selections if I was traveling, which is like super nice palettes. Like great for spring, really transitional into the, it would make a great fall palette as well, actually. Next one is the So Lovely, or So Very Lovely, pardon me. This one's so cute. I love the kind of Baroque or whatever style, or Venetian. I don't even know what this is. Yeah, it's got a very kind of European vibe to it. But anyways, color story is just to die. Craftworks. Oh my gosh. Fringed, pardon me. Rose Ave, Eyelet, Collective, Lace Up. Girl, this palette's everything. Love it. Very spring, but also could make a very great summer palette if you bring a pop of color and you use something like a pop of green in your palette with these shades, or like a really bright fuchsia, or you could add like a really bright cranberry in there, so it would just make it like super summery. Anyways, love. So nice. Last and my most favorite. It was tough to say, oh, what's my most favorite? A lot of these are my most favorite, but okay. That's why I bought them. This Sweet Talk palette is super cute, super wearable. Yeah, and it does have 2 glitters, but I'm going to defend this palette to the core, because when we're talking about, coming out of winter and wanting to, wake up, bring out a little bit more color in our face and more gleam, it's fun. It can go into summer really well. The color story really plays up into summer as well. So, kind of like you're seeing a little bit of a, I'm going on a date look here. This is kind of like a romantic palette as well. You could add pops of, color in here as well if you're adventurous enough. But really just a pretty palette. So that's the spring collection. Next up is summer, so we're going to go ahead and start summer off with my least favorite from the selection, but again, remember, my least favorite doesn't mean it's not my favorite. So again, those who know me know I love strawberries, and I love a strawberry shortcake, and I love a strawberry shake. Like, come on. Excuse my background. You can probably see my coffee in the background there too. So, don't want to blind you. I mean, what's there not to like about this palette? It's so cute. It's super summery. This mid shade here, some of the shades, for example, this one here, are not tested for the eye area, and super important. That being said, if you are going to be adventurous and you are going to put it on the eye area, just remember it's not for the immediate eye area. However, you know, if you're a makeup artist, sometimes you know how to work these products on the eye area in a way that will not affect you. So, you know, at the end of the day, just be cautious and just make sure you read the packaging, because there's always warnings on the exterior packaging as well as the primary packaging. Anyways, enough of the rant about that. Super great color story, really nice, super summery, would look great on absolutely any skin tone. And that's what I love about Colourpop is a lot of their palettes, they really cater to all skin tones, and that's the way it should be. So thank you, Colourpop. Okay, so next up, oh, sorry guys, I bonked the camera and that's not cute. Little ray of sunshine. Look at this little guy. Isn't he just a darling? This one here, you know, if I had a medium skin tone or a beautiful, rich, chocolatey skin tone, whatever, it like just not my alabaster skin tone, this wouldn't look so goth on me. It's kind of like a gothic summer, but I'm not opposed to that. No one said I was against it. It's just that, you know, it's not one I go to immediately, but if I need a good transition color for summer, girl, this palette's your everything. All mattes. I love an all matte eye, and I think, oh, you can see some of the eyeshadow I got. I scraped my thumb the other day, and I got eyeshadow under my thumbnail, and I just hate that, so I excuse that. But anyways, oh my gosh, just a great palette overall. Great transition shades, great neutrals, and would make a great summer palette for any skin tone, primarily medium and darker skin tones. So that's just how I feel. Super beautiful. Gotta love that for summer. Gotta love that. And I mean, Miss Bliss, super cute. I mean, it's like super summery. It's like you're, you know, I'm going to the carnival kind of, gosh, I don't want to blind you here. I'm going to the carnival kind of look. Just adorable. It has every single shade that you would need to have a really cute, peachy, pinky eye. Just throw on a ton of bronzer and a gloss or just like a lip balm, and I think you're good to go. So great summer palette for just like a quick look. It's a really cute palette. So that's Miss Bliss. Oh, I love a good coral palette. This one is bomb. I mean, come on. Like, what? Oh my god. So I know of a few other industry professionals who love the Colourpop matte shades that have the glitter in them. They are not your typical frustrating matte that has a lot of fallout glitter and it defeats the purpose of putting glitter in the matte. These hold up, guys. If you use your finger, don't be afraid with these mattes to use your finger to press them on for that final mattified kind of glitzy look. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous summer palette. Every skin tone will suit this palette. My only thing is if you're not into gold and you like a really bright highlight, these two are great highlights. They can cast more goldy pink and gold champagne, so you may need to whip out the heavy artillery and bring out more of your lighter shades. But this is just like such a nice palette, you guys. The Coast to Coral is just, oh, it's everything. It really is. Next up, I know that this looks more springy, but it just reminds me, it does remind me of summer as well. It just really does. Can we just talk about the texture on this palette and how gorgeous it is? Colourpop really does know how to make packaging absolutely stunning. Like, look at that. But not charging you an arm and a leg for quality products. And I'm just like, I'm all over it, guys. I always catch their sales. They're amazing. What's there not to like about this palette? In fact, I think the color story really speaks to itself. It's very spring. It's very summer. It's a good transition palette. It's a good I'm traveling palette. It's a good, you have pops of color for night. You have some day looks. You can bump it up for night. There, and can we speak to how there's no glitter, pressed glitter in here? I'm super happy to see that. You know, for a 15-pan palette, that's really amazing, because a lot of their larger palettes do have pressed glitter in them, like we've seen before. And so I'm just really happy about this not being super duper cray pressed glitter. So yeah, just loving it. I love peaches, so I'm always falling in love with like this kind of color story. But at the end of the day, I love a good purple, and yeah, you can just do so much with this. So that's the Garden Variety palette. Super cute. Okay, what's there not to like about Lizzie McGuire? Okay, when I saw this, I was like, yo, that's going in my cart. Issue is that I bought the whole collection. So, yeah, didn't need to do that, but honestly, what a cute palette. Super nostalgic, but aside from that, it's super summery and it's so cute. It's just everything I would wear. I'm not into green, but what I like about these, or what I like about green and these particular tones of green, is that most times you can use them as a spotlight to your makeup. So like the center of the eyelid, the inner corner of the eye, you know, maybe just like in the bottom lash line as a smoked out like colorful liner. So pretty wearable. Some people would disagree, and that's fair. But again, very, very summery, like super summery palette would go great with, which is kind of spring too, but for me it's just screaming summer, and it just would be the perfect palette to go on a vacation with. If we all can get back to vacationing soon, that would be super amazing. But yes, that is the What Dreams Are Made Of Lizzie McGuire collection. All right, guys, so I've brought this palette out before many times. I'm obsessed with this palette. Sailor Moon, come on, like, and it's holographic, like, pardon moi? Can we just talk about how cute that is? Okay. If this doesn't scream summer, I don't know what does. I don't even need to talk about this palette. You just gotta look at it and just be like literally enthralled and entranced by this cuteness right now. Love it. There's nothing I hate about this palette. There's a reason why it's in my top 4. And this is, yeah, this is number 4. So let's move on to number 3. And number 3 is hard because I wanted it to be number 2, but something else fell into the spot of number 2, and I couldn't decide. So if I could have 2 number 2s, this would be a number 2. But this is number 3, and it's the Melrose palette. I love it because it screams an evening out for summer. It's like smoky eye palette for summer / daytime palette, if you want it to be. Yes, there is a pressed glitter, but hey, when we're going out, we want to do it up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what's up. It's down to earth, all right. I'm loving this palette. Super, 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 super palette. I love it. Oh, yeah, it's great. Second is, yeah, it is the Barbie palette. no joke. I mean, what's there not to like? Come on, it has a cute mirror, like a super cute mirror actually. It's got like clouds and a little sun, super cute. Yeah, just Cali Girl is so cute. Let's Go Party, Shine On, 1971, Surf's Up, love that, Make Waves. I mean, they're all gorgeous. Boardwalk, girl, Follow the Sun. Just a beautiful color story. This couldn't scream more summer and more Barbie than any other palette I've ever seen for Barbie. So well done, Colourpop. This is gorgeous. At first I wasn't sure when I saw it, but now that I have it, got it on sale. I love it. And from my feature presentation, my most favorite palette for summer is the Limoncello Palette from Colourpop. If you have been to Italy and you have been to Positano or the Amalfi Coast, this is purely the Amalfi Coast in like a package. I've never seen anything cuter, and what's inside is super neutral. It's just super wearable. You can jazz it up for night. It's the most unexpected color story, but I'm telling you, it is my #1 favorite because you can't mess this up no matter what skin tone you have. This green looks off-putting, but it isn't. It's absolutely stunning when you pair it with a nice, chocolate shade or this beautiful, beautiful sky blue. The color story is easy to wear. The shimmers are not high shimmer, but they gleam beautifully. Like, it's more like a beautiful frosty shimmer. It's not, it's just really refined, and it goes on super smooth. So today when I demo one of my makeup looks, you'll see me speaking to some of the formulas, but I just like, this easy peasy, and then yeah, that color's just beautiful. Capri, limone squeezy, just gorgeous. So that is my #1 palette for summer. And so next up, I'm going to do a summer look for you, and I can't wait to show you. So stay tuned. Hi everyone. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started and show you something really cute and fun using my favorite summer palette from Colourpop, and I'm really excited to show you what's up, what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some Lis Wattier. This foundation is actually one of my favorites for keeping a very lightweight matte sort of finish on the skin, and I just absolutely adore how well this product performs even when I'm, shall we say, sweating, and that's kind of an issue that we all kind of experience in the summer. So that being said, I'm very fair and I don't tan. So although it would be nice to see the Malibu Barbie palette on someone with more tan skin, it's just not, it's not gonna happen. I literally just struggle with self-tanner, and I just don't feel it looks authentic on me, personally me, but that's just me. I don't know, maybe if you have some tips, you self-tanners out there, if you have some tips for me, I would love to hear it. So what's great about this foundation is it can be applied with your hands, and a lot of the other products I'm going to be using have, like NARS products, are, more so designed for, the use of your hands, just because everything is heat activated. And personally, everyone does their makeup differently, and I think that's really great and cute and fabulous, and there's nothing wrong with that. Makeup is an accessory, no one's perfect, but at the same time, having kind of that very natural skin look is just my jam. I don't, love to have a ton of product on my skin, but you know, at the end of the day, I think there's a time and place for it too. Like if I was going somewhere where I knew photos were gonna be taken of me and things like that, I'm probably gonna go back and I'm really gonna do a more intensified look when it comes to that. So yeah, let's get you a little bit closer. Okay, so I've applied this base. Now you can see that my skin clearly needs concealer and all of that fun stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that. I just kind of wanted to speak to, you know, summer looks and keeping, if you want to keep the skin fresh and you want to keep it matte, but you don't want it to be oily and you want it to be oil free, but you want it to look like skin. I think that tinted moisturizers can do that, and there are some foundations like Guerlain. Guerlain has a fabulous Lingerie de Peau foundation that I actually use in photo shoots a lot. There's no kickback in photos. Don't be put off by SPF. It can actually work with you if you properly use bronzer and contour. You can actually get that flashback to really work as a highlight for you. So really, if you know what you're doing and you know how you're using your products, you're fine. I like a controlled dropper because I can control my coverage, and that's something that I find the pumps don't do, so this is why I loves this foundation. So I'm gonna stop it here and then I'm gonna come back and I'm going to have my full foundation and concealer on so that we can get to the fun stuff. Okay guys, it is time for us to bronze. I'm going to go ahead and use from the Coral collection, Shook to the Coral. It is such a cute, like, and I'm going to do the draping effect with it. And I'm just going to take it up into my temples and my forehead, as well as the side of my temples and back in this way. And then just like a little bit here. And so see how that kind of just like frames it? And then you can always go back and you can add more. Next up, I'm going to go with Night Bloom blush by Colourpop. And I'm gonna go ahead, and because it has like kind of like Barbie vibes, I really wanted to, or like just like tap it onto the highest points of your cheeks, almost like you would a highlighter. It's kind of the new way of doing blush since we've been wearing masks, and really it's not a new way. They've been doing this technique for many centuries, guys. This has been around for a long time. But yeah, don't be afraid to like just color your world. Get right in. Okay, from the Coastin collection from Colourpop, I am using the Coastin Super Shock highlighter, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to just work my finger into the product because it's actually a hybrid. It's actually a cream and a powder in one. It's really hard to explain this product, but like, look at how that goes on. I'll finish off and show you. I like to do like the bow of the lip, you know, some people do the nose and like right in here. You can highlight where you want, just I like to make it a little more subtle, that's all. Okay, we're gonna go in with this palette, and today I think I'm gonna, if we're gonna do Malibu Barbie, we're gonna go dramatic today, so I'm gonna go in with bronze and then we'll start adding color afterwards. Okay, you can see I already did the other eye, but I'm using Make Waves, which is the kind of matte caramel in the bottom left hand of the palette, which I'll also include at the end of the video which shades went where. And I'm just placing that directly into the crease. You want to tilt your head back so that you get proper positioning of your crease. If you try to stretch it and do it like this, you're not getting the proper placement. This way you can see bone structure easier, and where your brush is going to actually naturally tuck in is. Okay guys, I'm going to go in with the matte blue in Malibu Memories, and I'm going to pack the shade all over from the middle to the outer eyelid. I was really curious how impactful this shade would be. I'm using a 242 paddle brush from MAC. I love this for packing on shades. It has a perfect dome-shaped tip. You got that much time to do your makeup. So it actually really does pack on really nicely. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go bold, and I'm gonna use the West Coast, the very kind of bright, daring shade. And I'm gonna take the same 242 brush. I just kind of wiped off the excess pigment, and I'm gonna just like press that into the inner, I guess, inner part of the lid. All right, now I'm going to take this golden shade called Come On. And I'm literally going to use my finger to put it literally, like I just said, literally over top of the yellow that I just put on. And it is, this filter's crazy. See how bad, how many scars I have? I mean, I'm not shy about it, but like, okay, so over top of the yellow, I put on the shade called Come On, and it is a really beautiful kind of bronzy yellow gold, and I just think that it just like noise. But anyways, when you want to use a lot of color, it's good to use bronzes and peaches and warm tones to kind of make the color story a little easier to wear, so you don't literally feel like you're Malibu Barbie, just like literally just like ripped out of the package and it's like, girl, where's my Ken? Wait. Who does Malibu Barbie even date? Okay, so in my inner crease, I actually put a little bit of Let's Go Party, which is like that matte kind of peachy shade. And I was thinking, let's go in with the bright matte orange, and we'll just like pop that into the outer half of the crease, actually. Literally over top of the transition color we did earlier. So I'll go ahead and do that and do the other side and show you. Okay, so that is looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna go in with Zuma Beach, which is the dark, you know, kind of, it's like a bronzy brown. It's very, very pretty. And I'm literally going to anchor and frame my crease, literally dragging it to the bottom lash line for that kind of sultry, smoky effect. And I'm using, I think this is the 223 from MAC. You know, I'm an OG MAC person. I used to work for MAC almost 10 years with them. So I'm kind of like, I hold on to my MAC brushes like they're like my child. They look brand new because I take good care of them. But you use what brushes work for you. I like, when I'm trying to soften something and get a softening effect, it's always going to be natural bristles. So do the other. So this brush is like one of my favorites, other than the 224 from MAC and the Zoeva 223 crease luxe brush. Holy smokes. My favorite natural bristle brushes to use. You get the most beautiful, smoky, softened look. I'm going a bit more disco because Malibu Barbie is, hello, 1971, honey. So we want to make this look like classic, you know, 70s disco. Okay, guys, I'm not going with your quintessential, typical expected look here because Malibu Barbie is a 70s baby. Okay, honey? So we ain't doing any of this cut crease business today. You guys, look at what I'm putting on, the metallic blue shade in the palette called Surf's Up over top of the blue that I use the 242 MAC brush to kind of cut onto my eyelid and into my crease. It's stunning. You guys, if you don't have this palette, I mean, you need it. All right, gorgeousness. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that trusty 242 from MAC, and I'm gonna go in with Zuma Beach, the darkest shade in the palette, and I'm just gonna like really just kind of work in what we just did with the blending brush, and I'm just gonna stipple in my smoky liner. I typically don't like liner in my bottom lash line, but you know, honestly, you guys, I think just do what's good for you. Some of you may be looking at this and you're like, why would you do your eyes before or after your concealer and foundation? Guys, I've been doing makeup for like 25 years professionally as well. So I understand my skin, I understand my pressure of my hand, I know how products sit, I know if there's kickback or not. So I'm kind of well prepared in advance before I put something on. And if I'm not, then I'll just go and erase it and start again, like whatever, it's makeup, comes off. Have you guys noticed I have not wet one of my brushes? It's not always necessary. If you use the heat from your hands, you can get impact. If you use the right brushes, you'll get a softened look. You know, I think it's just a matter of just being patient. But this looks incredible, you guys. I just literally barely had to merge the shades to kind of blend in together. Stunning. I'm gonna take Vintage Doll, which is that pale, pale, pale pink. I'm so curious how it looks, and I don't know if I'm gonna be doing the right thing by doing this, but I just want to like mix it into, you know, the bronzy brown matte shade I just did, and just kind of give it like, just warm it up. You guys, that is so pretty. And then I'm going to take Cali Girl. Is it Cali Girl? Yeah, Cali Girl. And I'm literally just gonna press. I use literally a lot today, and I'm not feeling that. I'm like, girl, I apologize. Use that right in the inner corner. Okay, so I mixed a little tad of the Cali Girl and Vintage Doll, and I'm just gonna go ahead and place it right on the arch of the brow, so that, you know, when I turn around and I move, I've got some great arched brow support. Brow support. Okay, now I'm going to use the high def cayenne shade, or cyan. Oh gosh, I don't even remember. It's slightly rubbed off, from MAC. And I'm just going to go in and just... Okay, now I'm going to use the high def cayenne shade, or cyan. Oh gosh, I don't even remember. It's slightly rubbed off, from MAC. And I'm just going to go in and just... Okay, so when I line my lips, I just, I fill in just above the bow, gives it a nice contour, and then I just, I don't fill in my lips all the way. I just kind of, outline, and then I just blend it in like this. And then I go in with my lipstick. So I'm using Dreamsicle by Colourpop. And it kind of looks like that comes in the collection. I didn't get the whole collection just because I felt like I have a million pinks. So pretty. So guys, Malibu Barbie right here. So I'm going to show you in a few different lighting situations. So cool light, still just as poppin', and of course warm light, you know, different saturations if you're in the sun. It's cute. I just love this look. Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know what you want me to show you next. Mwah. Happy spring and summer 2021. Peace.